WOBM Lakewood Township, WADB Asbury Park. Listen online at WOBMAM.com. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310.
And a very good Thursday evening, the 1st of October, 2015. Welcome to the Thursday Night Football Show here, broadcast live from Baker's Water Street Grill in downtown Toms River. And it ain't August anymore. I'll tell you what, the summer has come to a crashing conclusion.
You know, I feel like it's trade deadline because of the games going on right now. You just keep looking at your phone trying to get updates.
I mean, I think we were here last Thursday night. It was a beautiful night. The deck outside was filled and all of that. And here we are in the midst of some wet weather that we have not seen going back to May, probably. And as a result, it has a major impact on this weekend's high school football schedule. It's already impacted, and how much more it will be, well, time will determine tomorrow. A bunch of games being played today. As a matter of fact, we'll give you some updates on those. In Barnegat, it was a 4 o'clock start, and it is Donovan Catholic, I think you'd have to say, upsetting Barnegat 23-20. Remember, Barnegat is the defending B-South co-champions. They have really dominated the conference in recent years, but clearly things not going well for the Bengals. They fall to 1-3, and Donovan Catholic wins it on a Giancarlo Stigliano 23-yard field goal. I believe it was in the second or third overtime. And the Griffins, who went winless last year, even their record at 2-2. So things going well for them. And late in the game, undefeated Red Bank looking like they'll improve to 4-0 as they lead Neptune 28-7. Our Bob Batters is there and will join us later on in the show and talk about that game as the Bucks continue to be really one of the early season surprises. I'll be honest, we have not gotten a scoring update in a while on the Manchester at Point Borough game.
It was 20-6. Wasn't it? Or 26-6. Point Borough.
I don't think it was 26-6, but Point Borough was winning
by a couple of
scores.
But
as soon as we get a final, we'll pass that along to you. So interesting Thursday afternoon football here at the Shore.
Tell us why, Matt.
What do we do now? Do we go back and talk about last week, or are we going to skip last week because there's already games in progress for this week?
Well, I think we got to go back a little bit about last week. So why don't we start it as and by the way, let's kind of set the stage for tonight's show. We'll be joined in a short time by Jackson Memorial head coach Walt Christopik and his outstanding senior two-way performer Kyle Johnson. We'll preview the big game tomorrow night, a game that will be our Jersey Mike's game of the week as Jackson visits Brick at Keller Memorial Field, the 7 o'clock kickoff. That game is on for tomorrow night, and according to Brick officials, barring unplayable field conditions during the day tomorrow, they plan on playing tomorrow. So we'll talk with Walt and Kyle about their early season start, an impressive one coming off a championship year, and their preparations and how they feel about tomorrow night's game, and maybe talk about a little bit of how the weather might change your preparation. Later in the hour, Shore Regional Coach Mark Constantino will join us. His Blue Devils look like, to be honest with you, they're steamrolling to not only another division title, but might be the chalk favorite to win another Central Jersey Group 1 championship. Things looking good for Shore Regional. As I mentioned, Bob Batters will join us in the 8 o'clock hour. Of course, our weekly conversation with Monmouth University head coach Kevin Callahan, and we may try and sneak in a couple of minutes with Point Borough coach Sean Henry.
As long as he hangs on.
As long as he hangs on.
We put the pressure on him.
We can get in touch with him. So
you said win and you get on the radio, right?
So that's what we have coming up tonight.
I think it's interesting at this point of the year when you look and see how many teams are still undefeated and what surprises are there in those teams. And I think there's a bunch of them. Obviously, we've talked about Red Bank already. I think you can go down and look at a team like a Lakewood. Point Borough, if they win, would be 4-0. That would be, I would say, a little bit of a surprise. How about Raritan right now? You know, they're looking like a pretty good football team. Absolutely took apart Matawan last week 40-3 as the Huskies have fallen on some tough times. But I think at this point of the year, and I would tend to think you would agree, if you go 3-0 to open up your year, you've kind of crossed that hurdle of saying we're not really sure if we're going to be a good team. At 3-0, you have a pretty good chance of knowing that you're a pretty good football team.
Well, the way the state playoffs are set up, Matt, you win 2 more games and you're virtually pretty much assured of getting in, So, and of course, if you win 3 more, you're definitely in at 6-2. So, 3-0, we always say the dangerous teams are those 0-2 teams because they're so desperate for a W. Well, the teams that are 2-0 going into week 3, like we do have so many undefeated, to get to 3-0 definitely motivates that team, to a great season.
By the way, Point Borough has beaten Manchester 26-6. So the Panthers 4-0, and
they're their first 4-0 team.
Yeah, hey, that's right, they are. And of course, in B South, you can never say anything's likely, but
Red Bank is also 4-0, right?
Highly probable.
No, not yet.
Oh, I thought it was over.
Still going on.
Still going on.
Highly probable that the November 7th, which is the last day of the, let's call it the regular season for the playoffs, Point Borough will host Lakewood. There's a very good chance that game will, if not be a showdown for the B South Championship, will determine the outcome. Both those teams looking pretty good, especially Point Borough.
Look at you just skipping past October, getting right to November.
No, I don't want to get to November. I'm in no hurry to get to November, believe me.
Well, the other surprise team in that B South is Jackson Liberty.
Yeah, well.
Undefeated in the conference.
With a game against
2-0.
Lakewood, which I know a couple of games, they moved up the starting times tomorrow.
Yeah, you really got to check our Shore Sports
Batters. Bobby will have everything updated
yeah.
later on. But Jackson Liberty beat Lakewood last year.
Yes, they did.
And that actually started Lakewood on a long losing streak. So who knows? I mean, the Lions have that open up. They open up with their crosstown rival Jackson and, get absolutely smacked to start the season. And I think we all kind of forget about them, not realizing, hey, they're playing a superior program. And, they kind of fall off the radar. But, maybe they'll turn things out. Hey, B South.
It's a toss-up.
It's a toss-up.
Coin flip every week.
It is. It's
every week is a coin flip. I think it makes it fun, though. I think it makes that division fun. I think if you look, going back to the Week 1 show that we had before everyone had kicked off, I think we always looked for those teams in divisions where it seemed like there was a first and a second. Who would be a third? You make the cases for Raritan right now. Can they kind of survive with teams like Rumson and St. John Vianney? Because one of those teams after tomorrow will have a loss. If Raritan can keep rolling, you never know what could happen later on in the season.
And that figures to be a incredibly interesting game, right? Rumson, St. John Vianney, that's tomorrow?
Well, I think it's offense versus defense. Yeah.
But if the conditions are brutal,
it hurts, I think, with St. John Vianney.
Wouldn't you think it has to hurt their passing game?
Yes.
And we got a chance to see Anthony Brown last week against Central. He's a very impressive young man. And, if we're talking, again, if it comes to expectation, tomorrow right now looks like the worst day of the weekend. So if we have heavy rain and wind tomorrow, not an easy night to throw the ball in.
Well, St. John's Vianney does control that, being the home team. So, if it's absolutely, horrendous weather, maybe they do move that one to Saturday afternoon or even Saturday night, depending on the forecast. There's so many ifs, ands, or buts going on right now with this weather. Hopefully this hurricane does take a little turn out to the sea and, for the sake of everybody that, us also who live here on the coast, we don't want to have to deal with what we dealt with a couple years ago.
I will say this, watching that team last week in person, having not seen them last year at all, that's an impressive football team because they don't have one or two guys who are going to go play in college. They've got 7, 8, 9, maybe double figures. They got 10 guys.
Yeah.
What high school football team around here or anywhere has 2 6'6" receivers that you put one on one side and one on the other? Great running back to transfer in Chuck Woonicki. The quarterback, obviously, in Brown. Good-sized tight end.
And Micah Clark, two-way lineman.
And Micah Clark, and a defense that gave up just 6 points to Central and pitched a shutout for the last 3 quarters.
Yeah, I agree. Our top teams, Middletown South, RBC, St. John Vianney, and Jackson, all winning big, scoring loads of points, playing great defenses. Something's gonna break. And again, we'll be there tomorrow night to see if something breaks with two undefeated teams, Brick and Jackson.
And at some point, all of those teams that you just mentioned, Ed, will play. Middletown South has to play Manalapan, vice versa.
Right.
Vianney and Rumson, and see if Raritan's undefeated for a little bit more. Jackson and Brick. I would be shocked if Brick Memorial doesn't play a role in A-South at some point. We were just kind of perusing the schedule a little bit. If Red Bank can keep winning, they're going to play Red Bank Catholic. That has the potential to have two teams be undefeated at I think 5-0 when it comes to that particular week of the season. There's a lot of great games coming up on tap.
And while it's way down the line, last weekend of the season, Red Bank Catholic hosting Jackson Memorial, a rematch of that phenomenal game last year.
In which the streak was stopped.
The streak was stopped, and then
Keep
both
skipping
teams
to November.
Let's
enjoy October. I know we're not off to a great start here the first day of the month, but let's hang in there just a little bit.
Well, clearly, one of the dominant programs on the Shore has become the Jackson Memorial Jaguars, and we're going to talk Jaguar football right after this break. We'll talk to them. You're listening to the Thursday Night High School Football Show on the Shore Sports Network.
Water Street Bar and Grill in downtown Toms River is the ultimate sports bar. With 32 HD TVs, Water Street brings you all the action every football game. Located right on the water, Water Street is the perfect place to enjoy the finest views of the shore. Whether you want to grab a few drinks with friends, catch your favorite game, eat a delicious meal, or enjoy live entertainment every Friday and Saturday nights, Water Street is the place for a good time. Located across from Huddy Park on Robbins Parkway in downtown Toms River. Visit them at bakerswaterstreet.com. Pain is something nobody should have to live with, and Thompson Healthcare and Sports Medicine uses a wide variety of techniques and services to alleviate and eliminate your pain and find out what's causing it. With a team of chiropractors headed up by Dr. Robert Thompson, their goal is to find the best treatment program for you. Whether it's chiropractic care, sports rehab, spinal decompression, medical pain management, or acupuncture, they are also certified active relief techniques providers. Thompson Healthcare and Sports Medicine is dedicated to making your life painless. They have offices in Lacey and Toms River and coming soon to Manahawkin. For more, visit njchirosport.com.
Hi, it's Dave from the Causeway family of dealerships in Manahawkin. Causeway knows it takes a great game plan and teamwork to keep our customers happy, like free oil changes on our cars. Giving back to the community is another game winner. For 46 years, Causeway has supported countless local charities, schools, and sports teams. This year, Causeway is a proud supporter of Shore Conference High School football. Stop by Causeway Ford Lincoln and present your Shore Conference game ticket to win a 60-inch HD TV. Online at causewaycars.com. Causeway, the right way to buy your next vehicle.
This is Marianne Levy, News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Broadcast from the Preferred Home Healthcare Studio. Since 1987, Preferred has offered the highest degree of care. Preferred Home Healthcare with feeling.
The Jersey Shore's news leader. Listen online at WOBMAM.com, on the Radio Pub app for smartphones and tablets, and on air at 1160 and 1310.
News Talk Radio, WOBM.
Coastal flood advisories continue through Saturday. Wind advisory out through the Saturday time frame from 2 a.m. until 6 p.m. And coastal flood watches continue for the remainder of the weekend as well. We are going to be looking at Hurricane Joaquin staying offshore, but a strong east wind into the region. That's going to collect moisture into the area, and that's going to mean rain, heavy at times, and plenty of wind. Overnight low 52. Rain showers evolving into a steady soaking rain Saturday. Mid-50s, north to northeast wind 15, 25 miles an hour. I'm meteorologist Mark Thibodeau from the Weather Channel.
Your home for high school football. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310 and WOBMAM.com.
A rainy Thursday night around the Jersey Shore. We're talking high school football on the Thursday Night High School Football Show here from the Water Street Grill in downtown Toms River. TV's on. They've got the Yankee Red Sox game and ready to go in a little while. It'll be the Ravens and the Steelers. But, of course, we talk high school football, and clearly the game of this weekend, or one of the two big games of this weekend, will take place tomorrow night, we believe, at Brick Township High School, where the Green Dragons will host the Jackson Memorial Jaguars in an early season Class A South showdown. Joining us here at the Water Street Grill is Jaguars coach Walt Christopic and his senior wide receiver and safety, good enough to be with us, is Kyle Johnson. Gentlemen, thanks so much for coming down. And, Walt, we'll start with you. You're sitting there listening to the weather forecast. One of those things you have no control over, but I think ideally most coaches would like the game to be played in better conditions than what you might be looking at tomorrow night.
It's going to be definitely a challenge for our kids. We've prepared for it all week, playing with a wet ball and getting them ready for the weather conditions.
Not your call tomorrow night. It is a brick home game. Their athletic director, Rick Hanshin, told me today that, barring the field, I guess, taking on so much water tomorrow night that it's unplayable. They plan on playing tomorrow night. I'm sure you have geared your team up for the fact that we're playing Friday night.
Absolutely. We've prepared for it, and we've had to coach in these types of games before. We've had some very bad weather games, and I think our guys are ready.
Kyle, how have the preparations, once you saw the weather forecast, how have the preparations changed a little bit? I mean, were you able to get outside every day?
Yeah, every day going outside. Weather really bad, but we have to prepare for that because, tomorrow's going to be really wet. And we have to prepare for that.
So are you using the old rubber ball, and wetting it, putting it in the bucket and stuff like that, or what? Protect those leather balls, right?
Well, our offensive coordinator, every time we go for a play, rub it against the wet grass so our center and QB can get the hang of it.
Okay. It's so important in the spread, right, Coach?
Absolutely. And, I think more than the wet weather and stuff like that. I mean, that stuff you could deal with. But the windy weather conditions that are forecast, that'll really be a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, guys like us in the media, we always like to play the game. Okay, who does the bad weather hurt the most? Both of you obviously have terrific running games, and no question about it. We'll talk a little bit about that. You seem to have had more success early going throwing the ball than them, but I guess the bottom line for someone like you, Walt, and your coaching staff, we both got to play in it. So that's just the right?
Absolutely. I mean, Kyle's done a great job for us, and he really adds that extra dimension to our offense. The growth and the development of Dan Barker, he's really done a great job replacing Joe DeMaio, through graduation. But, what we want to do as a team as Jackson, as always, since I've been here as an assistant coach and even as a volunteer, is run the football downhill.
But let's talk about that quarterback, because I think that was the big question going into this season. You had a lot of pieces back. You had guys like Kyle and Vinny Lee and Mike Golick and Tyler Townsend, some good offensive linemen. But, of course, we all start at the quarterback position. Joe DeMaio just was a tremendous leader of your football team last year. And it probably was a question mark. Was it a question mark to you or just us guys in the media?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, that position, quarterback, he's the face of the franchise. And, everything revolves around him. So, if you're not solid at that position, it's going to be tough to have a good season.
Coach, I know you won the 7-on-7 in the before the All-Star game this summer, led by Barker. How much did that help his confidence?
Yeah, so anytime you have success, it's going to lead to improving your confidence. But there's a completely different area where there's guys rushing you, and now you're going to get hit rather than standing in a pair of shorts and throwing the ball out in the nice weather conditions. Dan has really done a tremendous job. Each and every week through our scrimmages, each time up, he's shown improvement and growth, and we couldn't be happier with him and what he's done.
Let's just ask Kyle about working with a new quarterback.
Right.
Did you work out a lot during the summer with Dan? How did that transition go?
It was hard at first, getting because Danny's it's hard. Danny's different from Joe.
Right.
Joe was more accurate, but Danny has a better arm. So we had to work on timing and all that, all in the summer.
And obviously, it's paid some dividends because you've had success in the air already.
Yeah, it has. Danny's really stepped up and improved, and we need him to step up this game too.
No question about that.
Okay, Coach, the two-prong running attack, which probably is one of the top running attacks in the Shore, if not the state. Mike Golick and Vinny Lee. Tell us a little bit about these two guys.
I mean, both guys really complement each other. Vinny has really, he can make you miss in a phone booth. And Mike Gall's, tough guy. He's going to run through a bunch of tackles. Even though being 165 pounds, he's going to run over people. And he has a lot of long runs already this season.
Yeah, Golick plays much bigger than his size. I mean, he's just he's a tough guy. I enjoyed watching him last year. Now, Coach, both guys have gotten nearly the same amount of touches through 3 games. You really haven't had to keep them in long. You beat Jackson Liberty 41-0, Lacey 41-10, Southern 42-0 first 3 weeks. So maybe not big games to acquire stats where you guys keep them in. How much do we see them on the field at the same time? I know you run a lot out of the eye, so, I mean, are they splitting time at tailback? Are you trying to keep both on the field when you can?
We've added that into Vinny's repertoire this year. You know, they're still with when we're in our I formation now, the guys will both split reps at the tailback position. But, you know, when we get into our different personnel packages, there's plenty of things where we have them both on the field, make defenses have to worry about them both at the same time.
That is a worry, boy, I'll tell you that.
Kyle, the other somewhat question mark, was the offensive line, replacing guys that left last year. How would they come on?
Well, we only have one returning starter, Dylan Smith, and we need people to step up. And then in preseason, everyone started getting hurt, and we need sophomores and juniors to step up for them. But this week and next week, we're gonna have them all back.
Yeah, because I thought last year your offensive line was as good as any there was around. You agree? They were tremendous.
Yeah, they were tremendous.
Okay, Coach, it's a I know you take them one at a time, but this is as tough a 3-game stretch as there can be.
Absolutely. You look at any games in A South, you have to get yourself mentally prepared to go out there and be ready to compete for 4 quarters. Try and focus on just the next game that's up. So our whole complete focus is on Brick Township right now.
Now, I know you saw them, probably went to scout them last Saturday night, right, against Toms River East. You didn't see their top 2 running backs, Jay Obenauer and Rashawn McCall. Both sat out with minor injuries. So I don't know if you saw them at full strength.
We've seen them in other games that we've scouted. He's definitely a load. He's a bigger back. He still has some very good straight line speed to break away. He's going to be a load, especially in the weather conditions that are coming up.
By the way, Ed mentioned the 3-game stretch. Jackson will have at Brick tomorrow night. Then the following Friday, we'll be back on the Jaguar bandwagon when they visit Toms River North. And then the Friday after that at home against Brick Memorial. So really a brutal 3-game stretch. We kind of jumped right into tomorrow night in this season. I think, in fairness, we should go back a little bit. I know you guys, it's all forward, but last year was just such an incredible season for you personally as the head coach, the honors that you received, and your team to win a state sectional championship, to finish ranked as high as number 2 in the state, number 1 in some people, to finish atop the Shore Conference. I mean, it's almost like a dream. And for you, when did all of that get put aside? When did you say, okay, that was great, we enjoyed it, but that's all over now?
First week in December.
You're going to really tell me that right after that game?
As soon as it's done, you got to start getting the next guys ready, especially with the number of kids that we lost last year. We had to get them out there and make sure they're out competing. I mean, one of the great things that I think that the Jackson Athletics in general does is, we have people like, Kyle Johnson that's out here, and he competes all year round. He won a state sectional title with wrestling, won a state Group 4 title with baseball. Other guys like, Brody Graham is out there. I've finished 3rd in the state in the wrestling tournament. So those are the guys I want on my football team. I want guys who want to go out and compete all year round and go up against the best competition.
So you didn't get to celebrate too long either? You forgot about it right away?
No, he was thinking about making weight, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was last year was great, but like Coach said, first week back, everyone has to get back to work for the off season.
I mean, did winning it last year, that great feeling of how special it was, say, hey, you know what, I'm going to be a senior next year. I want to do that again.
Yeah, it definitely has. All the seniors now, we want to repeat, and the juniors too. That moment last year was just unreal, and we just want to repeat.
Yeah, there's nothing like winning a state championship. The Jags have won, 4 of them, right? We always think, thinking ahead, and as far as I'm concerned, I said if Barker could play half as good as DeMayo did, this team could be as good a Jackson team as there ever has been, because Golick and Lee getting the year experience, returning those 2 guys as long as everybody stays healthy. How do you feel along those lines? I mean, you've had some great teams. You've been involved with some great teams, but this team is capable of being one of the better ones.
Yeah, I think they're absolutely capable. And like you said, the big question mark is just trying to stay healthy, keep the same guys in the lineup. But you have to go out there and prove yourself. And that's what going against Toms River North, Brick Township, Brick Memorial. That's where you go out and you prove yourself.
That's Walt Kristopic, the Jackson Memorial Jaguar head football coach, joining us along with his senior Kyle Johnson. Walt, I said in the beginning, you have a program. Now, look, Jackson, had great success in the those back-to-back teams. I think it was 2000, 2001 under Reggie Lawrence, and Mike Smith had some very good teams, and has been part of your program as well, and is now the athletic coordinator over at Jackson Memorial. But it just seems like, especially in recent years, everyone talks about Jackson as a program. You've got pretty good numbers. You've been able to sustain that. I think your freshman turnout has been better than most schools. I mean, obviously, people like to be part of a winner, but you're a district that's split. You opened up a second school. I think some people might have thought, well, they'll never get that. What has allowed you to build a program?
I think it comes down to success. Successful programs are it's easier to get the kids out of the hallway. Those good athletes from other teams, if they see that you're successful, they're going to want to come out and be a part of your program.
I mean, what are you sitting right now numbers-wise, like your varsity program, approximately?
I believe we started off for our whole program somewhere around 110 kids.
And that's including the freshmen?
Yes.
Okay. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
A lot of people would like to have those triple numbers.
Kyle, now tomorrow, let's talk about Brick a little bit.
You just want to go right back to that Brick game.
I mean, it's a huge game. It's a huge game. Defensively, what kind of threat do they have against you?
Two great running backs, and then Jasir Taylor, just a dangerous threat that can do it all.
Okay, what about you offensively against their defense? They play pretty good defense. I think that's what has led them so far this season. They play great defense.
Yeah, they do have a good defense, but we have a lot of weapons to use against them.
Okay.
One of the guys, well, he's right.
Confidence, he's right.
Well, they do have a lot of weapons.
They certainly
you
do.
You had built up a healthy rivalry with them last year. You guys played twice last year.
Right.
The Saturday night game in October was just a tremendous game at your place. Not probably as tremendous as you wanted it to be, but they won it in overtime. It was an unbelievable night. The atmosphere at Munley Field was electric. You got your revenge a little bit later on in November in the state playoffs. Waxed them pretty good, but clearly, established a little bit of a rivalry there.
Yeah, we have. And last year when we shut them out, they're definitely going to come out this game even harder. Just thinking about what happened last year in the playoffs.
You're expecting their best effort tomorrow night.
Yeah, we are, all of us.
How about the school behind you guys? I mean, they always are great crowds. Now on the road, will you bring some people with you?
Yeah, from what I understand, there's supposed to be at least one or two student buses coming along with us. So it's we have some great support with our school. They're very into our athletics in general. Get out and they're supporting each other.
Coach, I got to ask you this because we were looking and talking before the show started about the state groupings. Any thought that you drop from 5 to 4? I mean, sometimes you wonder what the state is thinking to drop down a brick Memorial and a Jackson to Central Group 4. Shouldn't they be Group 5 schools? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you do miss some of the traditional matchups.
Yeah.
Being able to go down to South Jersey and you playing Shawnee and Cherokee, we did in 2000,
that's in
2001.
South. Yeah, well, when you were in South,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, but I mean, even in Central, right? You won the 5 last year, right?
4.
Oh, you
last
did
year.
win the 4.
Yeah, it was 4
Oh, they
last
were in
year.
4. Everybody was in 4. I'm lost. I'm lost. I thought you were at 5. I'm sorry.
What else is new?
Yeah, I know.
So tomorrow night's a good one. Is there a situation where you don't want to get too up for any one game at this point of the season? I think, we talk about football, and obviously after tomorrow, you will have played half your games counting towards the playoffs. So it's not like it's early in the season, but you have big games down the road, or do you just, you're going to get your guys sky high for tomorrow night, you worry about the next one after?
Same thing as they always say. It's you don't want to get too high and you don't want to get too low. So you want to stay trying to even keel. Once this game is done, we're going to put it behind us and we'll move on to the next thing.
I know one of the reasons you feel you've been successful is your staff. So why don't you just talk a little bit about the nucleus of the guys who have been with you along this great ride?
I think just even from when I was a young coach as a volunteer, I had some very good coaches that had the privilege of learning from. From Chris Barnes to Reggie Lawrence to Mike Smith as head coach, to be able to work under those types of people, and then just some of the assistants. Somebody like Mike Walsh that's been around forever. Won state titles as baseball, state titles as football team. It was a great opportunity to learn from all those people. Learn that you're never done. There's always another way to get better. Seeing having guys like Scott Goodale on our staff through the years. That they're all tremendous people. I learned something a little bit different from each one of them.
Not just coaches, but really quality people.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about Coach here. You know, he's not here, okay? So it's just you and I talking. His personality during practice game day is, how would you describe him?
Well, it's just not him. It's all the coaches just trying to prepare for the game that week, thinking they know how to prepare us throughout the week. You know, if we're doing something wrong, they're going to yell at us. If we do it right, we just got to keep working on it and just get it to perfection.
Now, you've grown up with Jackson being a successful program. I mean, through your high school days, you guys have had success. Do you feel a little bit of pressure as a senior to leave this great legacy? I mean, back-to-back state championships would be something incredible.
Yeah, it would, but I feel like when I was a freshman, I had people to look up to, like Kenny Bradley, Vinny Celedonio, Kenai Glover, like all those kids. And as a senior, I feel like I have to be a leader for the team.
Well, you just picked three good ones to look up to.
I was just going to say, Carl, I was going to bring up Bradley, and it must give you special, I mean, you got to be beaming when you see a kid like that go in as a freshman and play at the college level and be so successful.
Absolutely. I mean, we have a ton of guys now. You know, as you mentioned, Kenny Bradley. You know, those guys don't just leave. You know, they're back around the program. They're helping the younger guys, and guys like Demetrius Smith at Monmouth University. Mm-hmm. Seeing them go up there and have a successful career up there is tremendous. They come back and they really support the program. It's not like they've gone and left the town.
I mentioned the guy I wanted to ask you about is Tyler Towns, who, if the stats are right, through 3 games has got 6 quarterback sacks. Has really done a big job for you. He's really been tremendous on both sides of the football. Tight end too, right? Tight end too. You know, he's really stepped up and filled the void left by Brody Graham last year at tight end. You know, he was, Brody last year was really what made our offense go. You know, being able to get back into the I formation was because of Brody Graham at that tight end position. You know, Tyler's done an excellent job replacing him. You know, on the other side of the football defense, he really brings, a different element from that weak side pass rushing specialist type person. Brody Graham last year was as devastating a tight end blocker as I have ever seen following high school football, and I've watched it for a long time. Absolutely. He was another one of those guys that Kyle was talking about before. This types of senior leaders, the guys, get behind me and do us how I'm going to do it, and I'm going to lead you to where we need to go. Well, listen, it's all signs are sort of pointing in the right direction.
Looking forward to this one.
Yeah,
this is going to be a big-time football game.
I mean, I think this is what, if you're a true fan of the sport, you love games like this, despite the weather conditions tomorrow night, and maybe it keeps the crowd down a little bit. It's a special football game between two teams that went at it great twice last year. They both won championships because of those games. Brick used that regular season win to go on to win the A-South championship. The Jaguars used the state playoff win to go on and claim that Central Jersey Group 4 crown that Coach talked about. But, of course, I know for Kyle Johnson it's, hey, let's win tomorrow night. If we see him again, let's make it 2, right?
Yeah, it is.
Well, we appreciate you coming down. Look forward to watching you tomorrow night, catching it and then stopping it, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Kyle Johnson. Walt, always a pleasure. Congratulations on the fast start. And look forward to seeing you tomorrow night and, of course, the rest of the way. Always a pleasure to talk Jaguar football.
Thank you for having us.
All right, Walt Kristopic, Kyle Johnson from the den of the Jaguars. We take a break, and we'll be back after this. You're listening to the Thursday Night Football Show on the Shore Sports Network.
Water Street Bar and Grill in downtown Toms River is the ultimate sports bar. With 32 HD TVs, Water Street brings you all the action of every football game. Located right on the water, Water Street is the perfect place to enjoy the finest views of the shore. Whether you want to grab a few drinks with friends, catch your favorite game, eat a delicious meal, or enjoy live entertainment every Friday and Saturday nights, Water Street is the place for a good time. Located across from Huddy Park on Robbins Parkway in downtown Toms River. Visit them at bakerswaterstreet.com. If you've injured yourself, you don't have to deal with the pain or risk further injury by waiting for a doctor's appointment. Contact Atlantic Physical Therapy Center today. You can see one of their physical therapists without a doctor's prescription right away. Insurance companies will pay for treatments, allowing you to start therapy sooner and get better faster. Transportation and the Alter G anti-gravity treadmill are available. Plus, they're the official physical therapy provider for the Lakewood Blue Claws. For more information, call 877-9-NEED-PT or visit AtlanticPTCenter.com. Pain is something nobody should have to live with, and Thompson Healthcare and Sports Medicine uses a wide variety of techniques and services to alleviate and eliminate your pain and find out what's causing it. With a team of chiropractors headed up by Dr. Robert Thompson, their goal is to find the best treatment program for you. Whether it's chiropractic care, sports rehab, spinal decompression, medical pain management, or acupuncture, they are also certified active relief techniques providers. Thompson Healthcare and Sports Medicine is dedicated to making your life painless. They have offices in Lacey and Toms River and coming soon to Manahawkin. For more, visit njchirosport.com.
At Jersey Mike's, we know busy lives and dinner don't always mix. But by making a sub above, we help make time for dinner time. With cold subs on warm nights and hot subs grilled for cool evenings. It's a really well-made meal, de-stressed. It's something really good, shared simply. It's a delicious dinner time in the bag. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
For the latest high school football news, visit shoresportsnetwork.com. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310, and WOBMAM.com.
And our thanks to the guys from Jackson as they make the trip back home and get ready for tomorrow night's football game. We should hopefully, before the top of this hour, spend a couple of minutes talking with Point Borough coach Sean Henry off his win today. Just sent Zach his phone number. Zach, you'll reach out to him about 10 minutes late, but if all goes well and all goes according to plan, which doesn't always happen here with us, on the line with us will be the venerable, you can now call him venerable, he's been around long enough, and incredibly successful coach from Shore Regional High School, and that is Mark Costatino. Kaz, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Good. Always good to talk with you. And your Blue Devil team is off to a very, very fast start, winning your first 3 games over Keyport, Spotswood, and Keensburg. And then tomorrow night at your place, scheduled to host an 0-2 Dunellen team. Are you still good for tomorrow night? Is that the plan to play tomorrow?
Yeah, we plan to play.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about this team. You come off to, that great season last year, all the championships, some magical moments. I know you really love that team, and we kind of felt like you were loaded for bear again, and it could be a back-to-back. And so far what we've seen early is clearly you have the horses to do that. You like this group?
Oh, I love them. They work hard. I've been watching these guys win football games since they were 6-7 years old through Pop Warner, AYF. They've always been winners, and they were a big reason, for last year's team also. And they want their own identity. They want to leave their mark. They've been working very, very hard. So I'm very happy with this group.
Coach, as we were talking at the beginning part of the show and just doing like almost a State of the Union for all the divisions, everyone's about 3 games in, and I know you go week to week, but as you look at B Central a little bit, it has really kind of popped out that it's you and almost everybody else. What do you see when you look at some of those other teams that you'll have to play later on?
Well, you never take anything for granted, so we're just preparing, like every team can beat us. They're old foes, we know each other, so it's not like there's any secrets. So we're going to get after Dunellen tomorrow, who's obviously not a conference game. Then we get to the bye week, try and get healthy, and then get after Modern Day. And treat it like a championship game, and that's how it is. These division games mean so much to us, and we haven't lost a division game, I think, since Point Beach 2012. So we're just trying to go for 3 straight, and we talk about it all the time. The players are very aware of what they want to do, and that comes first. Win these games and then get into the playoffs.
Coach, I feel like every time we look at any of the B Central teams and the schedule, more so in your division than any other, you guys always play a lot of those non-conference but out of the area type games. Do you feel like that's beneficial for your team, not just for you, but maybe the other teams even in B Central too?
Yeah, of course. We love the crossover Middlesex County. I personally did not like how the Shore Conference did their scheduling years ago. Keensburg was playing Manasquan in their heyday every year. That was ridiculous. So for us, really, it's a joke when you think about what they used to do in the Shore Conference schedule. It was an absolute joke, especially for small schools. And I love it. For the Middlesex schools, it benefits them. We're playing schools our size. and it works out. Now, we still play, we don't have to, but we went after and offered to play Rumson Thanksgiving, and they're a powerhouse, and we did not have to do that, so we're not shying away from competition, but I just feel during the regular season playing like, you're in our division, you're playing Neptune, Long Branch, Van Swan. It doesn't really bode well for teams in our league all the time. So, I like it.
Kaz, you got me here? There we go.
Yeah, I hear you.
Kaz, okay. There's no doubt the leader of your team this year is the big guy, Doug Goldsmith. I mean, can we keep this guy healthy for one whole season? Last year, he missed 6 games with the knee injury. Then during lacrosse, he breaks his foot. You held him at it a preseason. Yeah. I mean, he's by far the leader of this team.
He's an animal. Doug's a great player, one of the best players I've ever coached. He's totally healthy. Last year he had the knee in preseason, and then he got hurt his ankle at Asbury week 7 or 8. He's our guy. He's going to get the ball a lot tomorrow. We're really counting on him, and he's just a tremendous. He leads by example. He works hard. No one works harder than him, and he's just one of those guys every day. He can do anything. He can punt. He can catch. It's funny in practice. We do things with him and just laugh. And he goes, "I'll do it, coach." Or he'll tell the quarterback, "Your step is here." And we just laugh. It's great, But he is our leader when it comes to making big plays. But we have many weapons,
Right.
It's one of those deals where we have to spread the ball around. But he's my guy.
Does he run out of the fullback or the half?
In the wing tee, he's the fullback, and then we go in the eye. He's the eye back, but he knows both halfback positions. He can play quarterback. He knows every position. We do wildcat. He's in the wildcat. He does all of that.
Would you liken him to a kid named Vinny Delacardillo, who just happens to be your principal now? He reminds me of that type of kid. Same position and everything.
Probably a little better looking and smarter than Vinny, but
It's a good comparison, though, huh?
Yeah, he's a hard-nosed, super tough player.
Middle linebacker also.
Oh, my God. You guys, if you see him on the films, he just makes play after play. I have to give him, I got to take him off the field at times and let him breathe, but he doesn't want to come off. He's that good. But just as good as he is, we have a couple guys like Eric Graham, offensive, defensive lineman for us. He can do everything. He's the only kid I've ever had in 24 years as head coach who can play every position on the offensive and defensive line. And he was an all-shore kid last year, and Eric Graham was just dominating this year. So he's one of those kids that he's one of our captains. And him and Doug, they're unbelievable.
And I know you also said when Bob Batters did the talk to you for the preview issue, you thought you could throw it a little more this year. And I know, the Delaware tee, you don't throw it a lot, but your junior quarterback, Matt Pennell's been successful. He's thrown 2 touchdowns, hasn't had one intercepted yet. And you kind of feel like if you have to throw the ball, you can do it.
Well, we have no problem throwing the ball. Matt is just so you know, his last name is Pennell.
Pennell, okay.
Matt Pennell. But he's now standing athlete. Started last year at free safety for us. We were number 1 defense in the state. He was and free safety. A lot was on him. So we could throw. I mean, last week we had Kingsburg by a lot right away, so we only threw a few passes early, so we couldn't do it. But we have every confidence with him, and he has weapons this year. We have, our tight end Connor Rampell is being recruited by all the Ivy Leagues. Connor's 6'4", 215. He's fast. He's good. And we have Duke Russo, John Tuflutz, and Jack Britton. We have many, many weapons from the throw to, which he didn't have as many last year. Ryan Kemp didn't have all those weapons. So, we have no problem throwing the ball. We want to run it. We have our tremendous offensive line with Casey Rogers back, Stephen Mafredo up front. But, you're right. We have no problems with him throwing it. And we'd love to, but I think tomorrow's going to rain, so we're probably going to run it.
Coach, I know every year, one way or the other, whether it's down here or we're talking to you on the phone like tonight, I always like to get your take as to where you feel like Shore would fit in one of these other divisions, because I know as a B Central team, and you've been vocal about it in your time there, almost fighting for the respect to be amongst the top programs, which you guys have proven yourself to be. But take a Shore team and go into a B North for the entire year, or go into one of the A's for the entire year. How do you think that your team would hold up over the course of a whole season?
Well, obviously for the course of a year, it'd be tough because depth's always an issue. But if you want to make it a one-game season, we'll play with anybody. Mm-hmm. And that's how I feel. So when it comes down to like the top 10 rankings and whatnot, I wish they would overlook the fact that there's 650 kids in the school, because we have so many players who could play for anybody in the state, never mind the short conference. And I look at all these big schools. When I honestly thought we'd be ranked in the top 5 to 7 this year, and we haven't broke the top 10 yet in anything, which I know means nothing. It's where you finish, but it motivates us, and it is frustrating. We scrimmage some of these teams that are ranked, and we beat them. It's like silly. So it's I wish these guys would come watch us play. We have so many great players, and depth, it would be an issue to go through a 10-game season in those leagues. But for one game, let's go. And I got no problem with that.
And when they come watch you play, they'll see a new field too, right?
Yep, beautiful turf field. Yep. We love it.
Well, you'll love it tomorrow night instead of being in the muck and mire on that. Kaz, we're going to get you down here before the season's over. We want to treat you to dinner. We love having you come down here, so we appreciate you giving us a few minutes tonight. Good luck tomorrow. We'll catch you down here a little bit later on, all right?
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure talking to you guys.
All right,
Take
Kaz.
care.
That's Mark Constantino. You talk about a program. He has built a program. 24 years, one of the best Group 1 schools in the state year in and year out.
6 state championships.
I mean, that's, And I like the fact.
And by the way, won the what was the ShopRite Cup?
Shore Regional today was awarded the ShopRite for the Group 1 schools.
Yeah, how many state championships
they
last
had
year? Like 7 or 8?
They had an unbelievable year last year. I mean, in all their sports.
And I do like this. I like that, it might come off to some people the wrong way. I like that he speaks that highly about his program.
Absolutely.
And I thought he
backs it up.
I thought he gave a great answer, though. Over the course of a whole year, we might wear down. But in a one-game situation, I'll go play anybody that you want me to go play.
Yeah, I think you got to advocate for your school and in your division. That's what you have to do. Well, here's a guy who's feeling pretty good about his team. They're 4-0. And they've got their game this weekend out of the way. The Panthers of Point Borough with a win today over Manchester, 26-6, and a 5 o'clock kickoff at Al Sainer Field. Their coach is Sean Henry, who's good enough to join us. Probably dried off a little bit for a couple of minutes. Sean, thanks for jumping in with us for a couple of minutes, and tell me what the conditions were like this afternoon.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm still soaking wet. It was it got ugly. I mean, the second half it was. We had like a 3rd and 2 situation. We went just quarterback sneak just because I was worried about our quarterback getting the snap. But our kids gutted it out, and it was definitely I've never coached in a situation like this as bad as it was. But, we got it in. That's all that counts.
Yeah, and I want to ask you about the decision to move the game. I assume that was something that probably, only was made yesterday. And you guys, you coaches are such creatures of habit. You have your week lined up. It's a pretty radical move to move your game up 26 hours or so. It was I assume as the home team, it was kind of your call. Were you completely in favor of it, or were you sketchy on the whole idea?
I was in favor. I mean, it was definitely kind of a wild situation. I mean, we literally made the decision mid-practice is when I got the final notification. So, as a coaching staff, again, like you said, we're creatures of habits, and, Thursday's a certain way and everything like that. But, we kind of just met after that and just made the adjustments we had to make, kept the kids a little longer, and just, but bottom line is, for me, I hate waiting around not knowing if we're going to play. So I was 100% in favor of moving the game.
Coach, the great start, obviously, and a little bit maybe of a different offseason leading into these first couple of games, as this was a year that going in, a lot of people felt like this was going to be the year that there were some expectations back on the program a little bit after a tough year a season ago. How much of the kids kind of bought in with almost playing with a bit of a chip on their shoulder going in and out of all the games so far this year?
Yeah, I mean, they certainly are. Especially, our seniors, obviously, as sophomores, like, I keep saying, we kind of got thrown to the wolves as sophomores. They were little boys, basically, some of them, and they've grown up. They care about each other. They're a tight-knit group, and, again, we have a lot of football to play, and we're not satisfied with anything. Obviously, 4 games in, we're where we want to be, but, we got a long way to go. But the kids have certainly bought in. I'm proud of them, and, our coaching staff's done a great job. So, it is nice to see after the kind of the beating we took 2 years ago that the kids have grown up and, they're starting to, they're seniors now. So, and they've done a great job of even bringing our younger kids in, our sophomores and juniors. So, I'm just proud of them right now.
Coach, I've always liked the job Matt Salento does with the defense. It seems like this 2015 version of the Panthers begins defensively. A lot of guys returning. You've given up few points. Would you agree with that?
He's outstanding. He's as good as it gets. I mean, again, we're kind of a younger staff, and he's a young guy too. Probably, he's a North Jersey guy, which always busts his chops about. But I mean, he's done such a great job. Our kids have bought in. It does. It starts with our defense. I mean, obviously the offense we run. We've been a little sloppy the first 4 games, and they bailed us out all 4 weeks. But again, he's done an outstanding job. The kids have bought into the system. Again, this is the 3rd year we're running it now. They're just more comfortable in it, and they're flying around and making plays. But they've definitely, again, we've set the tone with our defense the first 4 weeks for sure.
This is 6th-year Point Pleasant Borough head coach Sean Henry. His team winning today over Manchester 26-6 to improve to 4-0. Sean, just give us a couple highlights if you can from today's game since we were not there.
I mean, our quarterback did an outstanding job. Again, just getting the snap by the second half was like an adventure in itself. So Noah Husak had 2 touchdowns. He's done a great job. Again, this is his first year starting. He's been outstanding all year. He's our leader. His twin brother Nathan is our A-back. He had a touchdown, and then Gene Franceschini had one at the end. But I mean, again, our defense was great. We gave up one big long run for a touchdown, but all things considered, I mean, for us to put up 26 in this weather, I was proud of our kids. And again, it all starts with our quarterback number 3, Noah Husak.
And you now get to scout the rest of the weekend, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Central up next week, right?
Yes. Big one coming up for sure. But, like I said, there's so much parity in B South. I think week in and week out, you can see anybody knocking off anybody. So, right now all our attention obviously is turning to Central. And, it's going to be a big football game. Our kids are excited for it. And, we're looking forward to it.
Well, we're happy for your success. It's always good to see a traditional program like Point Borough bounce back after some lean times. It got things headed in the right direction. Looks like it's going to be a really strong fall. So we appreciate you giving us a few minutes after your game today. Dry off, and we'll look forward to talking to you down the road.
Thanks so much, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Always a pleasure. Sean Henry, the Point Pleasant Borough coach, his team improves to 4-0. To back up what you said, Ed, they've only given up 19 points in 4 games. So, defense has been outstanding.
They had 8 guys back on defense, and you twix it a little bit, and they're tough. I mean, they're a good defensive team, and hey, that's what wins. Yeah, defense wins.
We all thought that Point Borough was going to be better, and they were going to be a B South factor, no doubt about it. I think when we talked in week 1, we kind of thought like, Point Borough, Central, Lakewood, those 3 teams. And I'm not so sure anything has changed dramatically. I think it might still be those 3 teams.
Can't believe we didn't mention the last B-South game of the season, right? Between them and Lakewood.
Will be them and Lakewood,
setting up for a big battle, and the winner of that one may very well be the champion of that division.
The guy wants to go right to November.
Here I don't know what's going on with him.
I know. That's why I said you didn't even mention that.
Well, when we come back on the other side, Bob Batters fills us in on Red Bank and Neptune today. We'll talk with Monmouth University coach Kevin Callahan as well. Another 30 minutes to go. You're listening to the Thursday Night High School Football Show on the Shore Sports Network.